Global Talent Visa. It's going to be a packed session. Our coach, who is in Australia at the moment, is already in the building, our virtual building, that is. And we are talking about the Australia Global Talent Visa today. You're welcome. Thank you for joining us at this session of eMigr8 Open Day. eMigr8 is your tech-enabled pathway to relocation and settlement, talent mobility, and we help people become globally attractive. That's what we do on the eMigr8 platform. Thank you for joining. If you haven't done so, you can let your network know that this session has started. And also, if you're watching the replay video, you can also send the link to others as well for them to benefit from the same thing you are about to or you are benefiting from. Today's open day is focused on the Australia Global Talent Visa. And the reason why we have to switch our typical schedule is because the time in Australia and the time in Lagos, Nigeria is many hours apart. And so you're welcome to this edition of eMigr8 Open Day. eMigr8 is your tech-enabled pathway to talent mobility, relocation, and settlement. What we do on the platform is we help people become globally attractive, and thereby they discover, qualify, and get endorsed for different visas that forward-thinking countries of the world have made available for people who are talents. So we help you become a globally attractive talent on the platform. Today's edition is going to be about 1 hour, 30 minutes, and it's going to be packed with a lot of information. Please prepare to ask questions. We won't be able to bring you up stage to ask the question live. And so what you will need to do is to be able to ask your questions in the chat. So once you have a question, drop it in the chat, or if you're watching the replay, you can also drop your questions in the comment, and we will do well to answer as many of them as possible. Today's session, 1 hour, 30 minutes. We will start by just introducing eMigr8, what eMigr8 is, and also what eMigr8 is not. We will talk about our eMigr8 app. If you haven't downloaded the app, please go to the Play Store, the App Store, and download the eMigr8 app. eMigr8 is spelled E-M-I-G-R and then the number 8. eMigr8. That is how eMigr8 is spelled. Look for that on the App Store, or you can find that also on the web as well. The main session today is our coach, Dr. Oladapo, is going to be talking to us about the Australia Global Talent Visa. He's an Australian global talent himself, and he's going to be talking about that particular route. We'll talk about a number of our packages on the eMigr8 platform, including our Settle in the UK as a tech talent package. We will talk about our tech career coaching package. We'll talk about Labs by Become, how you can become a startup founder. More important, we do have a gift for you if you wait till the end of today's session. So if you watch this video to the end, or you wait till the end of the live session, we do have a gift for you. So please bear that in mind. We've had many editions of eMigr8 Open Day in the past, and we have an archive, a big archive of knowledge from different visa routes, the UK Global Talent Visa, the US Global Talent Visa, which is actually O1 visa for individual with high potential. We've done sessions on the Australia Global Talent Visa in the past. We've done many different sessions where different speakers, different coaches have shared from their wealth of experience to help us as a community to become globally attractive talents. That's what we do on the eMigr8 platform. And many of these open day videos are available. We do have a few premium videos, but many of them are available for free. If you check on the app, if you check on our YouTube community, you will find many of these videos with a lot of knowledge inside that can help your own journey to becoming globally attractive. But today's session is focused on the Australia Global Talent Visa. Our coach is already here, and our coach is going to be sharing from his experience. We're not offering legal advice here. We're not offering immigration advice here. What we're offering is other talents, being able to coach, mentor, and handhold you to also become a globally attractive talent. That's our unique selling point on the eMigr8 platform. That's our unique selling point. Excuse me for a moment. Sorry about that. That's our unique selling point on the eMigr8 platform. That's our unique selling point on the eMigr8 community. That's our unique selling point, even with eMigr8 AI that we are launching as part of what will help you to become globally attractive. The app is in the App Store. Take a screenshot of this page if you haven't already. Download the app. Many of our free offerings are going to be offered only on the app over a period of time and on our community. So download the app, register for the app, and that's where you are able to get a lot of information and a lot of coaching, a lot of direction, roadmap, coaches, free coaching session, free one-to-one coaching session. And of course, if you want some of the premium offering, they are also available to you as well. One of those premium offering is this package called the Settle in the UK as a tech talent. Now, this is an option available even if you've never done anything in the field of technology today. So we are not saying you need to be technical or even the business side of tech. You could not have done anything in tech as of today, because it's beginner friendly, and we are able to handle you through the entire journey up until the point where you are globally attractive, and then you qualify for the different visa options that are available in this package. You will need to have a bit of time on your hands to be able to use this package. We say a minimum timeline of 3 to 6 months. That's the minimum that we can work with you on this particular package. This package, you can move with your spouse or dependent and dependent. Also, it's available if you're already in the UK already and you're looking for a pathway to switch visas. This particular pathway is available to you. We believe it is better than things like the UK student visa route and even the post-study visa route. The reason being that you are directly on a pathway to settlement. The reason being that you are directly, and even for the student visa route, it doesn't allow you to work from day one when you move to the UK. So this is available if you are looking to move to the UK and settle, a pathway for relocation and settlement, but it's also available if all you are looking for is a pathway to settlement. So this is the Settle in the UK as a tech talent. And this is just one of the many premium offerings we do have on the platform. We also have a lot of free offerings on the platform. And one of those free offerings are open days. We have a number of open days coming up in the near future. We have an open day focused on the Innovator Founder Visa route. We have open days focused on the UK Global Talent route. We have open days focused on the US route. Canada Startup Visa was our last open day. You can find the replay video online. And we have an open day coming up around the French Tech Visa route. So just to give you an idea of what we do on the platform, eMigr8 is your pathway to relocation and settlement. And we're also focusing on talent mobility as well. But then let me just explain what we do at eMigr8. In one sentence, what we do is we help you become globally attractive. We build globally attractive talent. And yes, it's true that many people on the call, the reason why you're on the call is because you are interested in one visa pathway or the other. We are talking about the Australia Global Talent Visa today. But that is not our overarching objective. Yes, you would qualify for those visa pathway if you are globally attractive, because if you are globally attractive, you have options. You have options of staying in your own country and operating globally. You have options of staying in your own country and becoming globally relevant. But then you have options of moving to other countries, other destination countries, and also impacting their economy. Why these countries make these visas available is because, not because they are doing you a favor, but because they know that net, they will be the net beneficiary of your talent if they can just get you to be in their jurisdiction. You will bring your innovation, you will bring your ideas, you will bring jobs, you will bring experience and several other things along that line that will build their economy. So ultimately, they are not doing you a favor. But what we are saying is that every individual deserves to be the best version of themselves. Every individual deserves to be able to reach their highest possible potential. And that would also even help their own country in the near future, because part of what we do on this platform is actually what they call reverse migration, but it's actually really just migration as well. eMigr8 is that pathway to relocation and settlement. And think about this. They call some people immigrants and they call some people expats. And in the current world, the difference is the direction where you are moving from. What we're saying is that you are an expert, even if you are moving from your developing economy, for most of the people on our platform, to a developed economy. You are moving as an expatriate. You are moving as a globally attractive talent. You are settling in that jurisdiction as such. And many countries have made different visas available to help you achieve this potential. One of those is the Australia Global Talent Visa, but that's not the only one. There's the UK Global Talent Visa. There's the Canada Startup Visa. There's the French Tech Visa. There's the US O1 Visa. They called it aliens with sorry, that name escapes me at the moment. Individual with talents, basically. The name escapes me for a moment there. But the key point we're saying is that all of these options are available to you only if you become globally attractive. And that's what we help you do on the eMigr8 platform. So our services cover things like information, general inquiry, coaching and handholding. It covers assessment, preliminary assessment. It covers roadmap to say, and that's one of the things we always say to everyone on the platform, to say you need to have a roadmap for yourself. And the eMigr8 app will help you do that, right? And it also helps with things like, oh, you've applied before, you were refused, you're wondering why you were refused, you would like to talk to someone that knows a bit more about it, or you're looking to apply and you like someone to take a look at your document. We are not offering immigration advice. We are not offering legal advice. We do have lawyers that we partner with. We do have immigration consultants that we partner with, but that's not our unique selling point. Our unique selling point is the experience, is the hand-holding, is the mentoring that comes from the different eMigr8 coaches on the platform. Many of them that have taken those journeys themselves a year ago, 2 years ago, 4 years ago, and so on. And one of those global talents actually is also on the room today to help you. And so I hope you're paying attention. I hope you're dropping questions in the chat. I hope as you're listening to this session, you are asking questions that are relevant to you. Our coach is not going to talk to you about things that you can easily Google on the internet. He's going to talk to you about his own experience, and that in itself will be beneficial to you. eMigr8 Tech Visa app, and these are some of our services. We run a freemium model. Premium model is that we do a lot of things for free. Over 80% of what we do actually on the platform is free, right? But we do charge a premium as well for some of our offerings. On the free side, the eMigr8 Tech Visa app is where you want to start as of today. Download the app from the App Store and use the app regularly. We do have information and inspiration session like this open day you're on at the moment, or that you're watching the replay video for. eMigr8 community is also free. We are on 6 different social media platforms at the moment. WhatsApp is our most vibrant platform today, but we are working hard to make other platforms as vibrant as the WhatsApp channel. We have a monthly open day, open coaching session, visa-specific office hours. We also have short inquiry sessions, which are free. It's a one-to-one session and it's free. The only thing we ask is that before you book a one-to-one session, do your own research. Have your list of questions, the ones that are personalized to you. What you shouldn't do is to waste your time and the coach's time by asking questions you can easily Google. Go to that session asking questions based on your own unique circumstance. That's why those sessions have been made available to you. Everyone gets one free short inquiry session. That's what we are able to offer. But as I mentioned, if you wait till the end of this session, we do have a gift for you. On the premium side, we do have our premium community called eMigr8 Circle. And very soon we are launching another community for HNIs, which is called eMigr8 Elite. Personalized coaching sessions is part of what we do on the premium side. And we do have standard package, eMigr8 premium services, custom services. If you are interested in any of these services, whether on the free side or the premium side, what you want to do is to contact us. You can use the URLs on the screen, emigrate.visa.com/. eMigr8.com/tech visa is where you may want to start from. If you fill the form, you will get an email with a lot of our free resources. That's where you can start from. And of course, if you are interested, you can take a look at the pricing page as well. If you're interested in a particular package or a particular service that we do offer on the platform. Some of those packages are on your screen at the moment. Move to the UK as a global talent, and several other packages along these lines. They all focus on different visa types. So I spoke a moment ago about one of those packages, the very last one on this page, which is the Settle in the UK as a Tech Talent. And you can see there what visa options they are focused on. We have a full package that handles you through the journey. If you're an entrepreneur in the room or you're interested in being your self-employed, you can look at the Self-Start UK route, which is UK self-sponsorship. That's for the UK, but we don't just focus on the UK. We have routes for the US as well, US Global Talent Visa, which focuses on the O1 visa. And we also have routes that focuses on the US EB2 NIW visa. The truth is, if you have a UK master's, you are likely qualified or at least close to qualifying for the US EB2 National Interest Waiver visa. Hopefully you knew that already if you're already part of the eMigr8 community. And there are several different options that you need to take a look at. But today, we are focused on the Australia Global Talent Visa. I'll just run through a few more of my slides. I see that I ran over the time allotted to me. eMigr8 community do exist on these different platforms. The app is where you want to start. Download the app if you haven't done so already. And this is another free gift to you. If you achieve a 7-day streak on the eMigr8 app, you will unlock another one-to-one free coaching session. It's one of the short coaching sessions, but you are able to unlock that and it will absolutely be useful for your journey. And what you need to do is use the app consistently for 7 days, and that unlocks another one-to-one coaching session for you. And as I said, if you wait till the end, there's a way to also, we will give you additional gifts as well. Other services from Bincom Dev Center. So eMigr8 is actually a product incubated by Bincom Dev Center. Now, with Bincom Dev Center, there are a few other services that we think would be of interest to you, and I'm just going to spend a few moments to talk about that. The Global Tech Program helps you to learn skills, gain experience, and gain exposure in the field of digital technology. You would find that program at bincom.co.uk/global tech. It's absolutely useful for beginners. If you're looking at as a beginner to start your journey in tech, I recommend this program to you. But also, if you're at the intermediate level in the field of technology and you realize that, oh, I need to do some more things for me to get to the next level in the field of tech, I also recommend this program for you. It has everything you will need in one package around building yourself. The program is 1 to 2 years, but we do have a subset of the program, which is just for 3 months. And that's this Become a Tech Talent that comprises tech trainings that you may need, tech career coaching sessions, tech apprenticeship with UK company reference, and many other features like that. You can choose your learning track. It could be on the business side of tech or the technical side of tech. On the technical side of tech, it could be software development. We have a Python track, data science. We have PHP backend. We have C# track, and so on. DevOps as well, infrastructure and DevOps as well. We also have the business side of tech, so you can opt to do things like project management, product management, business analysis, digital marketing, and other tracks along that line. The key point we're making here is that the pathway to landing tech visas is really mostly at the intermediate and advanced level. So you are going to need to build yourself from a beginner level, if that's where you are today, to intermediate level, and then a number of options will start opening up to you. We have a few options in the beginner level, and we talked to you about that on the platform already, but many of the options we talk about is at the intermediate level or at the advanced level. Today's session is actually at the advanced level, all right, but if you are even a beginner in the room, do not shut off, because we are telling you that you can plan for this over a period of time, and there are things you have to start doing today for you to be able to qualify in the near future. And that's part of the things our coach will be talking to you about during the session today. The mentoring platform is available. If you're at the expert level already, we invite you to come mentor on the Become mentoring platform. If you mentor on the platform, one of the things that it helps you do is to show yourself as being globally attractive. There are a number of visa options that part of what they want to know is, do you mentor on a structured platform? And this is one of such structured platforms. I need to mention, we are not able to bring every single person that applies to become a mentor. And so it is highly competitive. I need to mention that upfront. But the first thing to do is to apply on the platform, see if you are selected, see if you are shortlisted, and then you can start mentoring people that are already within our network. If you want to become a startup founder, or if you understand that founding a startup can actually become your visa, because when we said we help you become globally attractive, we talk about both you as an individual, your profile, but then it could also be your business, your startup. Labs by Become helps you to become a startup founder. And how it does that is it brings you with 3 to 10 other people who are looking to build a startup. And then we throw you in the deep end, because the best way to learn how to build a startup is to build a startup. And that's what we will support you in doing over a period of time. It's a 3 to 6 months program. Within that program, you will build the MVP, the minimum viable product for your startup. Within that program, you will sell that MVP to actual users, because part of the program is to actually have users using your startup within that time period. It's practical learning. You can use it as industrial attachment if that's what you're looking for. You can use that to build your portfolio, to say, oh, I have a lot of service in my portfolio and I don't have any startup experience. This is an opportunity for you. It's a premium program, but there are ways for you to also get scholarship on this program. The last program I'll talk about is our Tech Career Coaching Service. This is only available in the UK fully at the moment, but we are launching for Germany and also for Canada, our Tech Career Coaching Service. And what it does is that it helps you to land your next role faster. Some of these roles that come with, in the UK, certificate of sponsorship, which means that they are able to sponsor your visa as an employer, because you are land a job with an employer that can sponsor you. This is part of what we do on this Tech Career Coaching platform. It incorporates many things, from relevant experience in the target country to connection to technical recruiter and several other things that helps you to land your next role faster, whether you're at the beginner level, intermediate level, or even at the advanced level. And this slide is the one where you may want to take a screenshot of, because on this slide, we talk about multiple different visas from different countries. And what we've done on the eMigr8 platform is to categorize these visas according to what they are really looking at. Are they looking at your business, your startup? And then that's the startup category, where you have UK Innovator Founder Visa, you have the US IEP, you have the Canada Startup Visa. There are different nuances to this visa. UK Innovator Founder, you can be an absolute beginner. You just need to submit a business plan. There are many things to it. We have open days where we've explained it. But then Canada Startup Visa, it needs to be a business that is already successful in your home country. You already have traction in your home country, and then you are saying you want to move that to become global by moving to Canada. And you can move with up to 5 co-founders with the Canada Startup Visa. There are talent visa, and under the talent visa is the session we're doing today around the Australia Global Talent Visa. But there are others, like I mentioned earlier. There are work-based visas, there are temporary visas, and so on. There's a lowest common denominator in all these visa opportunities, and it is that be globally attractive. If you are globally attractive, you have options. If you are globally attractive, different countries of the world want you to be in their jurisdiction. So it is you to choose where you want to be. And that's what we help you do on the eMigr8 platform. That's why we are here. That's our focus. On the platform at the moment, we focus on the ones with pathway to settlement. It could be a direct pathway to settlement or an indirect pathway to settlement, but we focus on that. We focus on ones where you can move with your family, because we know many of the people on our platform, not all, many, or already have families and they want to have a plan for not just them, but their family as well. So we focus on that. And we focus on platforms and pathways where beginners can plan. If you're a beginner in the room, you are in the right place. Don't say, oh, the things they are talking about, I don't yet qualify. Say, oh, they've said I don't yet qualify, but they've told me what I need to do, and then start building a pathway for yourself. We also currently focus on tech-enabled opportunities. However, we've started expanding gradually to a few routes that are not core tech. For example, the UK self-sponsorship route I mentioned, it's not a core tech. And next year, we will be talking about a few more visa options that are not core technology. At the moment, we focus on core tech routes at the moment. So if you're a beginner in another industry, maybe a lawyer, for example, we will introduce you to legal tech industry. And of course, there's an AI part to all of this as well. With this new, there's an AI aspect to all of this as well. So with this new world of AI, you should be thinking about how you can incorporate AI into what you currently do. And so if you're a finance person, think about fintech. So that's what we focus on the eMigr8 platform at the moment. And we do open days, which are free, that we'll discuss in depth all of these routes with you, so that you know what it is that you need. We've also done a lot of research on the platform, and this is free to you. We do have the eMigr8 Tech Visa Landscape. And what the Tech Visa Landscape did was our team of business analysts and product owners and so on, they went out there and they did a research for you to say, give me insight into the various opportunities from multiple countries, the ones for newbies, the ones for intermediate, the ones for expert. What are the qualification criteria? What is the roadmap? What is the cost? What's the pathway to settlement? All of this has been put together into one document for you, and it's available free of charge on the eMigr8 platform. Just look for the eMigr8 Tech Visa Landscape. And as I said, if you say you don't yet qualify, that's fine. The question is that, do you have a personalized roadmap between now to when you do qualify? Whether you're a newbie, beginner, or intermediate, or an expert, you need that personalized roadmap to say, this is where I am, this is what I need to do for me to qualify. Even if it's already in the process of applying and you're putting together a document, you need that right roadmap. And that's where I'm going to be handing the baton to our coach for today. Mr. Dapo is already in the room and is going to be sharing from his wealth of experience. As I said, you won't be able to unmute yourself. You will not be able to unmute yourself during this time. You can, however, let us know if you have questions. And if you do have questions, what you need to do is pop them in the chat if you do have questions. Also, you can chat with us using any one of the numbers on the screen. You can chat with the eMigr8 team, and they're able to then direct you. So in case you are not sure what you need to do next, just chat with any one of the eMigr8 team. We operate a lot on WhatsApp at the moment. We are launching AI bots to augment and support what it is that we do. But yeah, you can chat with the team and the team will be able to direct you to what you need to do next. If you need to book a session with a coach, chat with the team and they are able to direct you to what to do next as well. Fantastic. So, Mr. Dapo, good evening, your time, or good morning, my time. You're welcome. You should be able to unmute yourself.
Yes, I've unmuted myself.
Yeah, fantastic. You're welcome. So at this point, thank you for joining us. I'm going to pass the baton on to you for about 20 to 30 minutes for you to just share based on what you prepared. And as I said to the audience, don't forget, drop your questions in the chat. Drop it now so that we will pick all the questions together. But Mr. Dapo, I will manage the question and answer for you. So let's finish your session before we then go to the question and answer. Good morning and over to you, or good evening.
All right. Thank you very much for the invite and the opportunity to participate in today's open day session. Thank you for the privilege and the great work you're doing in your team and organization. And I'm excited that I think I previously featured in one of your former sessions. I think, was it last year or 2 years ago? I can't really
It
remember
was
now.
2 years ago.
2 years ago. All right, that's good. I was excited to see that a lot of good work has been done and a lot is ongoing in the pipeline. Kudos to you. Good evening to everyone. Well, I'm Oladapo Olukomaya. I am based in Australia. I work as a senior analyst, and today I'll be sharing more with you about the Australian Global Talent Visa. Well, a little bit about myself. I completed a PhD in Australia, which was what actually I used to facilitate my getting the Australian Global Talent about 4 years ago. Yes. So the Australian Global Talent is actually a permanent visa. There are so many visa routes that you can use to come into Australia. There are different routes: employer sponsored, temporary visas, regional visas. There are so many of them. A lot of them are available on the Australian immigration website. And if you also get some consultants and migration agents, to be able to give you the updated information, because all these things change every year. For instance, in Australia, a new financial year begins July 1 every year. So our own new year starts every July. I don't mean by season, but I mean by financial year. So a lot of things change: legislation, visa conditions. Like the July of this year, a lot of things changed. So that is why it's good to always be up to date with any information around migration. What was permitted last year, maybe this year, everything will change. So a little bit about my experience with the Australian Global Talent. That was in the program. The visa route has actually been in existence previously. And I remember it was refreshed. Let me use that word. It was reintroduced in 2019. That was November 2019. Then some friends of mine, I finished from one of the big universities in Australia here in Queensland. I'm based in Brisbane, Queensland. So then one of my friends in the lab told me about the visa. Like, have I heard about the Australian Global Talent? I was like, I never knew anything about it. So what I did then was I went online, I read about it, but I could not make any sense out of it. So another second person, about 3 people told me about it. So what I did was, okay, they told me I should go online, Google it. So I Googled on it. They said I should submit an expression of interest. I'm talking about what happened in 2020. This is 2024. A lot of things has changed. So then I completed an expression of interest. So I filled in my name, my details. I'm coming from an agric background, but I work in IT now. But essentially because I was able to use my transferable skills, and I learned a lot of new things for me to make a career switch. So my background is in agric, but I work in tech now. And I'm not in core tech though, but because I work in business data projects. So that is where I sit. But when I got the visa, I was still more of like an agric researcher, a research scientist. So I applied for the expression of interest, and within 2 weeks, I got the response back that there was a unique code that I usually issued to apply for that visa. So, but now the process is taking longer. Then in 2020, I had people with bachelor's, master's who got the visa by just expressing interest. They gave them the code, they applied, they got it. Some didn't even have extraordinary talent. Then when I applied, I had written about 4 to 5 published articles. They were on the internet. I had attended conferences. I have had I had some good grades in my master's. I had a first class in my first degree. I had a master's in my. I had the first class in my master's. I studied in Europe for my master's. So I put all these things, all my published papers, I put them in. So all these things I feel could make me. I did some internship, some mentoring. I participated in some mentoring. So I got some letters here and there. So all these things are what. Let me put a disclaimer. You don't need a first class to get a global talent. I just mentioned my own story. It is not based on academic qualification. It is about, number one, do you have an innovative idea or innovation you can contribute? Do you have transferable skills? And are you able to add to the Australian economy? And again, how can you pitch your story? Like when my PhD was on solid state fermentation, about how I can use this type of fermentation to improve food for the humans and feed for the animals. So that was my research work, which I had to present in my expression of interest, and I got my PhD supervisor who nominated me, because you will need someone to nominate you for the visa. All this information are available on the Australian immigration website. So she nominated me. But the other thing is this. Then I had to like download potential job I could get. Like I looked at it, okay, there's a salary threshold. Then I think maybe 120 or 130,000, I can't remember. I was not earning up to that. I didn't even have a good job there because I was still just in my third year of my PhD, but I was about 6 months to the end of my PhD then. But now everything has changed. Even I've heard so many unpleasant stories that even people that have gotten PhDs were declined, associate professors, people here and there. So it is now measured on case by case. I've even had people with startup companies who expressed interest. People I know that are Scrum Masters, Senior Business Center Analysts, who are earning like 150,000, 200,000, any bill, who are declining the visa. So it is not based on so many things we think would actually have worked in time past. But what I would say is that there is no harm in trying. Put your best foot forward. So I did everything. I got the code back. That was in February of 2020. Yes. I didn't apply, not until July of 2020. So, but I knew the checklist. So I started gathering all the requirements. Because I studied in Australia, I didn't have to take any English tests. But my wife took an English test. And you do medicals, you pay for your visa. I paid well over 4,000. I can't remember the price now. I think about 4,200. I paid the full sum. My wife paid half. Then I had two children. My children paid half of my wife. So what we paid for the visa cost alone and everything, we paid close to, I remember, I think about, is it $8,000 or $10,000? So let me give you this. It is more expensive becoming a PR than becoming a citizen. With under $1,000, you can become a citizen. But you will spend every money you use to become a permanent resident. So the good thing is there's no harm in trying. And you don't pay anything to express interest. It's just an expression of an online form. If you are found substantial enough, they will invite you. So they'll send you a code, which you now go online and lodge your application, and you get someone that will nominate you. So I applied July 13, 2020, and they asked us for a series of documents. We said this color document, this document was not clear enough. So everything was legible. I used to say clean and clear documents, which I sent everything back, sent this document, sent everything. And fortunately for us, exactly 3 months, we got our permanent residence through the global talent. It was called Distinguished Talent Visa. Then it was two streams. There was, I think, there were two of them then. I think now they've collapsed it onto one. There was 858 and something 75, I can't remember. So they've collapsed it under one stream now. But the thing is, the visa used to be very, very fast, as in the processing was very fast previously. But now I had friends that had to wait. Even one of my friends who got it this year was, I think, because after he's even working as a research fellow. It's the same supervisor as myself that supervised him. He didn't get it until maybe around almost 9 months after expressing interest. I had another friend of mine in Melbourne who had attempted it for almost 4 times, but I was on his neck that, see, you have to keep trying. He was even thinking of applying through 189, which is like skilled. I think that 190 is state nominated, 189 is skill independent. These are another package. So I told him, try this thing. So fortunately, those like pilot officers or decision makers, some of them were on LinkedIn. So he reached out to them, pitched himself, updated his profile. That is why it is good to have a good LinkedIn profile. You will know who is watching your profile. Beyond what you send in your resume, people go online and do background checks. I have personally had people that check up my profile even when I was going to show for a job interview. Sorry that I'm digressing, but I'm only telling you now that your public profile is your current day resume beyond what we submit. So they will look your profile, they will tell you, okay, because in the nomination form, there's a place they will say, have you contacted a global talent officer? If you say yes, you can now put that person's name. That works there. I don't know if it's still working now. Then I think we had about 6 or 7 sectors. But now the sectors have increased to about 10. They've added more. So if you jump online, you can find all these sectors that they are taking global talent. And I can tell you, it is a very good pathway if you get it. So it's has all the benefits, just like every other permanent residency visa. So we got the visa, and I submitted my visa back to my uni. I graduated as a domestic student. You know, instead of I was on a scholarship, my scholarship had finished in September. But when I submitted my PR to them that I got it, so they updated my profile on the university website to domestic students. So I graduated as a domestic student, and that was it. And we progressed from there to start understanding more about the Australian government. So, but the good thing is, with that visa, you have no restriction. You can work in any state, you can work in any part of the country, you can work in local government. The only job I think you can't do there was federal government, because most federal government are for citizens. But you can work in local government in any state. You can work in state government, job and department in any state. You can work in private, you can work anywhere. And also, knowing the fact that you have a PR visa, also when you are traveling, there's no much pressure. It is very rare. I'm not saying there are no exceptions. It is very rare for you to apply for a visa and you now get denied. Because the truth is this, you're having an Australian resident. Nobody would think you want to go and run to another country to do what? So there's this kind of calmness and assuredness that they have that, oh, if they give this person that is coming back to Australia. So the visa is very good. You can get it, and it will open you up to do so many things. Like I said, it helped me to make some career decisions, plan around family, being able to look at it and, okay, I am doing this career path. What else can I do? So with that kind of visa, it's not the kind of visa that limits you to a location or limits you to a career path. And it's not dependent on, oh, because I came in as an agreed person, I have to stay in agreed or work. So I was able to do so many things. And I think that is just a summary of my own experience with the Australian Global Talent Visa.
Thank you so much, sir. And I'm sure that the, the audience will have a lot of questions for you. We also had some prepared questions already. And so you're welcome just for those just joining. Mr. Dakpo, Dr. Dakpo, actually, apologies, it's Dr. not Mr.
I am Mr. Dapo. I am Dr. Dapo. I am Ola Dapo. Anyone.
Yeah, Dr. Dapo has just shared a bit around his own experience on the Australia Global Talent Visa route. And now we're coming to a time of question and answers. If you have questions, please drop it in the chat and we'll take as many of those questions as possible. We're also collecting questions from the community as well. Dr. Dapo, let me start with the expression of interest. And that is what is, for those in the UK, you think of it as an endorsement from an endorsing body. But I don't know if you could speak a bit more around that expression of interest stage. What kinds of documents did you submit? I know that you need your detailed resume, not just a CV, but detailed resume. You need a brief statement of why you think you are globally attractive, your intent for Australia, and several other things along that line. I know it's a while now since you did your submission, and I know some things will have changed. But if you could just share to the audience some of the things that you submitted, and as part of that application, it may inspire the audience as well in terms of when they are preparing for their own application. So expression of interest.
Okay, well, I'm trying to remember now. During the time, I know I submitted my resume. I can't remember vividly, but I know I submitted my resume. I completed. You will ask me which sector and why do I think I am a global talent. It's about, because you to think about it. If you say you're a global talent, can we Google your name and find it online and see that you have done something? And the person that wants to nominate you, are they renowned in their field? So those are some of the considerations. So I know I submitted an expression, it was like a one-page expression of interest with just some field, my name, the sector I'm going for, and then maybe that the kind of salary I think I can attract. In Australia, you don't do endorsements. You don't need endorsement, but we need nomination. So there's a separate form for someone that will nominate. Currently, I think I learned now that at the point of expressing interest, you have to fill in that nomination form and send it all together. So things have changed a fair bit, or a lot, in the last 4 years.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much for that. And I think let's go a little bit. We're going to come to the questions in the chat in a moment, but let's go a little bit outside in terms of the terrain itself. Why Australia? Why did you choose Australia for you? I know you had a choice of many different parts of the world that you could have moved to and settled in. Do you want to give an insight into why Australia? And then I'm going to ask a follow-on question in a moment.
Okay, well, like I said in the beginning, I had completed a master's in Nigeria. When I finished, after service, I went back home. I served in the north, went back to Lagos, went back to school. My school is in Lagos State, so I completed the master's. Then I got another master's sponsored by the Hungarian government and the United Nations. I traveled to Europe. So while I was in Europe, I was looking for maybe I would get another opportunity to go to another place to complete my PhD. Funny enough, then I was not even thinking of immigration. I was just thinking of PhD, what next? As a young guy then, I was not even thinking about what it's going to look like. I think I left Nigeria August of 2014. So then Nigeria was not what it was like. So we didn't leave Nigeria about it was tough, things were not working. But I just like I can get something better than okay, let me go. If I'm able to get something, I get my degree, I come back home and look for a work to do. Even when I went to Europe and came back in 2016, I still saw that all the places I went, even my state, I could not get a job. So when the opportunity to Australia came, I just took it. I had applied to China, I applied to the US, I applied to the UK. I wrote GRE before, the graduate record exams to go to the US. I had a professor that wanted to take me, but I didn't score enough scores, enough high score in GRE, and I could not afford taking the course again. I applied to China and so many other places in Europe, but Australia seems to be the only place that I got someone out of the pool of professors I mailed. I got someone that responded, and it took me 2 years because I was communicating with her for about 2 years. Then she eventually agreed to supervise me for a PhD, and I eventually I had a senior here who was telling me in Melbourne, was telling me about Australia, and I told myself that okay, let me just, it was telling me you can get something in Australia that I should not give up. So I kept on trying, applying, sending code emails, sending my resume across different places. Then when the opportunity came, and before I even finished from Europe, I had known I was coming here. So I applied paperwork for the following, before I left, I think I had applied like a year before, but I left everything has moved to online. So I did the application all over again, submitted everything, got my references from my two professors, and I just put it in. Then I came back to Lagos. So then I started following up emails, got admission. Then before the end of 2016, that was around October, November, I was informed I was going to be notified about the decision of the panel about scholarship. Then I think
Oh,
November, December, I got a scholarship for my PhD, which covered tuition, fortnight allowance, and health insurance for my university. Not all schools do that. Some schools, they will give you tuition and allowance, but no insurance. But I was fortunate enough, my university paid for myself and my wife, and when my children came, they paid for our insurance. So it was a full package. So, and that's why I chose to stay in Australia. Even after getting up here, I was thinking, should we go to Canada? But I just felt, let's just see what we can do around here. And that's why I'm still in Australia.
oh wow. Wow. And I get that's my next follow-on question, which is how has it been living in Australia? Can you give the audience some insight into Australia? Because for some of our audience, they are in their own country, Nigeria, Kenya, Ghana, South Africa. We have quite a number of people there. And then we have a few people in the UK that are also looking outwards to say, if I'm not able to settle in the UK, maybe I should go to a different country. So we have those categories of people on the platform. And so just I don't know if it's around pitching Australia per se, but or more like just talking about your own experience in Australia. And I know you've traveled a lot, just to say these are some things to consider if you're considering Australia and then your own experience living in Australia for a number of years now.
Okay, well, I've been in Australia since 2017. Many people talk about snakes and all these things. I think it was only once I saw snake. I don't live in snake. I have not seen snake. Just like people sit on television. That's the way I sit on television. So people tell me, oh, yes, there's nothing like that. Australia is a multicultural environment, and it's a place that there's a lot of opportunities. I lived in Europe before. I can tell you there are some things that you will struggle to get in Europe that I can easily get here. Let me put context to it. Language. We all speak English in Australia, which was one of the big things that I was looking forward when I was going to do for a PhD. Because I knew even when I was in Hungary, I was trying to look for Hungarian opportunities in Hungary. I had to be learning language, and I was like, would it be easy for me to raise a family here? Australia is a place you can raise a family. There are different cadres of school, meaning what you can afford, you can get. There's still a lot of land. If you can get in, you can buy your own property, you can build. Yes, also understand the system. There are a lot of job opportunities. Even when we talk about, suppose I did menial jobs before. I'm saying it loud and clear. I did menial jobs. But truth is this: every job has dignity, and I learned something from those jobs that are called menial. Yes, they may not be technical. They may be a lot of physical, but I learned to work with different people with different temperament, different background, because it's multicultural. And Australia, too, in the terms of work, there are opportunities. The longer you stay, the better it will become. I can tell you, initially when I was studying, I didn't know how to interview. So I was losing a lot of job opportunities. But as I became more intentional about interviewing, the first job, I mean, whenever it even comes to a professional job, is the first one that is always very difficult. Sorry about that. I think so. A bike drove past.
No, that's okay.
So it's always the first job that is always very difficult. And if you are good, employers will always want you. I have done some interviews now that I came out to be like one of the best, and I've done heaps of interviews and I failed it. But the thing is resilience, and then don't self-sabotage yourself. You see, a lot of things that make you thrive in Australia is being confident in your abilities. This is what I can do, and really keep showing it that I am open to learn. There is nothing called Australian experience. I'm sorry to say, I don't want to mention any country that is synonymous to some Western world that is okay. If we don't have this particular experience, I have had people that didn't have Australian experience and they preach what they did back at home or the country they're coming from, and they got employed. I personally have had managers who gave a chance on me and employed me because they feel, no, this young man looks like he can do it. Forget about, and again, the other thing is, if you are not looking at a research career, there's no point chasing after a PhD. Because I have had managers that did not have even a bachelor's degree, but they were my managers. They didn't have experience. So balance experience with certificate or certification. That is what Australia is. Experience. Even if you can volunteer, it's an experience. If you can do internship, it's an experience. So there are employers that are willing to try. Even in government, I've been working more in government. I have not worked much in private sector. And the government is a place you can learn, you can contribute, because you can see that what I'm doing is benefiting the community around me. You are adding value. It's not like I just do something and they just dump it somewhere. Every day when I build reports, build dashboard, I write the document, I see it being used to make decisions. So Australia has a lot of opportunities across different sectors. But most importantly is carefully choose, do your homework, know the city you want to live. I live in Brisbane, Southeast Brisbane, and Southeast Queensland, Brisbane precisely. And I've been here. I've gotten opportunities I've been to Sydney like 3 times. I've been to Melbourne like once. I've been to Canberra once. There are some cities I've not been to. But the thing is this, there are opportunities everywhere. But do your findings. Like, for instance, I got a job in Melbourne one time, but I looked at family. I told myself I am not going to go because of looking at how it's going to affect my family. Other thing is looking at opportunities that, okay, what if I stay here and I look closer, I will get something. I actually got a job in the farm, as a farm supervisor. When I looked at the pay and the location, I told myself no, that I will just hold on. I got a couple of job opportunities, but I looked at it that because I didn't have experience, I was not attracting the good salary. But when I built up my experience, like I said, I had PhD, but I had to look for extra skills that I can add, which gave me an edge when I started interviewing. So if you can showcase that you have skills, you have education, you will always be in demand.
Wow. That is really insightful. It's actually insightful for me as well in a number of ways. But let's talk about the degree question, because there's one of the myths to say you need a degree, in fact, a higher degree. Because I know initially the Global Talent Visa Australia was biased towards degree holders
True.
and PhDs and all of that. But let's just talk about that for a moment. I know you touched on it when you were speaking, but I just want the audience to be aware, because we do have a number of people with a lot of experience but no degree in our community. And I just wanted you to just inspire them to say, I mean, what are those thoughts? I know you are first class and we can a first class degree holder. We can't buy that in the village, right? But do you want to speak a little bit about that in terms of degree? Do I need a degree?
Well, in 2020, I think people with master's degree that even have not finished their PhD who got the global talent. I was, I am and a couple of other people we used our PhD. I know having a PhD gives you a lot of advantage, a lot of advantage. But now, even having a PhD alone does not guarantee getting a global talent.
Yeah.
There are other things that you have to put in to get it.
Mm.
So, like I said, if you have a renowned, like maybe you have a patent material, you are visible that you are doing something that is blessing or impacting the global community, that alone will give you an edge, whether you have a PhD or not. Even if it's a master's you have. I've not checked recently, maybe there is a specific, what I call it,
Requirement.
a clause on maybe there is a PhD. But then PhD was the main thing. If you have a PhD, you are sure of getting it. Because most of us that got it then, PhD, across different fields. So it worked. But now, but even now, I know that few people that have gotten it recently that I know of, they had PhD. So I won't rule out the place of a PhD in getting a global talent in Australia.
Fantastic. And I guess it's a good time to just mention, because the question was in the chat. I didn't want to put you on
Mm,
the spot. So let me just talk about it and then you may make
mm.
a few comments as well. The Australia Global Talent Visa is changing. It hasn't changed as at this moment we are recording this, but it's going to change in a few months. The Australian government have mentioned that it will now be something called the National Innovation Visa. In terms of the details of what the changes are, we don't yet have it. At least we don't yet have it on this platform. As soon as we do, we'll bring it to you in the community. But we can tell from a number of signals. So one of the things they said clearly is that the new visa is going to be based on the way the UK Global Talent Visa works. So with the Australia Global Talent Visa, they did have a bias towards high salary, and they did have a bias towards higher degrees, PhDs and all, with the former Australia Global Talent Visa, which is what is currently still live. We've seen more rejections with that particular visa, but the requirement is going to be changing in a few months, if not weeks. The requirement will be changing, and it will be changing name also to what will now be called National Innovation Visa. In terms of the National Innovation Visa, it's likely that they are going to merge what used to be the startup visa, it's called Business Innovation Visa, and the Global Talent Visa, GTI of Australia. They are going to be merged together. It is likely that they are going to be using a similar requirement like the Tech Nation visa in the UK, very likely. Now, all of these are assumptions. All of these are no, we don't have the requirement as they when they publish it, we'll bring it to you. But we can say to you that the principle is still the same. The reason why they are changing is because they've looked at the global talent visa and they feel like, oh, it wasn't bringing as much economic benefit as they wanted. And so I can see them biasing towards startup founders, high growth startup, people that work in product-led digital technology, and so on. And it's understandable why, because they want their economy to grow and they understand that this is part of how it will grow, particularly in the field of technology. So there will be changes coming, just to mention to the audience, but the principle of it is still the same, which is that if you are globally attractive, you will have options. In terms of the details of the changes, we don't yet have it, but once we do have it, we will bring those details to the community. Dr. Dakwa, I don't know if you want to add to that. That was a question in the chat around the modification, or we can just move on to your own pathway to being globally attractive. Do you want to add to that around the innovation visa?
Well, I think I was hearing something about the global talent visa is no longer going to be maybe like archiving it, if that's the correct word. Like it will no longer be a mainstream because even interestingly, there were people that were in the pool before, maybe those who are in the state nominated or state independent and skilled nominated and skilled independent visa route, who are taken out of that route and pitched for global talent to show you how they were. It was more like a pilot. Those of us that applied in 2019, in 2020. So like I had people that got the visa in 2 weeks. So it was incredibly like everybody was just getting it. So one other thing I think must also have affected the whole thing is there was a time those of us that were only within the country were the ones getting it, that there was less emphasis on those from outside. So I think they're trying to balance all those things that they want to attract people from outside, inside. And also they want it to be different sectors, not just so much in a particular sector. They want it to be like evenly so that to touch all the areas they are short in terms of area of shortage of skills. So I don't really have much information about when this whole thing will take effect, but I've been hearing some things about that. So that's why I said one should just make sure that one is up to date with all these conditions and changes in visa as regards to global talent.
Thank you for that. Let's talk about your own pathway to being globally attractive, your pathway to global talent. Your pathway into tech now is what I really wanted to focus on, because you talked about transferring from agric to the field of technology. You've talked about the fact that you are transferable skills, and this is part of what we preach on the eMigr8 platform, to say even if you have 5 years, 10 years of experience in a different field, business analysis is business analysis. Project management is project management. You're just adding technology to it. And I know you're a live case of switching industry, but it's still the same core skills that you're using in the different industry that you have worked in, where you are a professional and expert in. So I wanted you to just speak to those people in our community, particularly those who we are currently coaching and they are now adding tech to what they do.
Yeah, interesting. Well, I think that was I graduated in 2021 for my PhD, and I was offered a postdoctoral position for about 1 year, which ran till 2022. So I got to that course route, and while I was doing that postdoc, I was teaching also as a tutor, and I was doing both. But at a point, I was feeling like I don't want to be caught in between a job that I will have to be chasing grant. I wrote some grants, publishing articles, doing lab work, training students in different, doing service maintenance, maintaining some lab equipment, doing procurement, purchasing of lab consumables. I did all those things. And then, but I looked at it that personally, I'm speaking for myself. I want to have a flexible work and I want to have a high income that I won't have to depend on writing different. I don't have to be chasing after grants. So I got to that place and I started speaking with people because I got fed up. Like I needed something that was going to give me flexibility, a work-life balance. Let me use that word. And because when I was doing my postdoc, then I felt like I was doing another PhD and I was not really enjoying it at some point. That I was broken. I was not really enjoying it. So I got to that level that I looked at, okay, having done PhD, I've done data. So I went back into learning more around data analytics. I started learning Power BI, Excel, SQL, I was trying my hands on it, and I've got some few jobs. And funny enough, the first job I got after I left the uni, I was an admin officer. It was supposed to be for like a 1 year contract, but I got fired after 6 weeks because they felt maybe I was struggling on the job. So I was home. I was home for a long time, but I was still learning, reading. I read a lot, like as if I was going to write jam again. When my wife and children are sleeping, I woke up in the middle of the night, I'll be reading. I joined a couple of classes in Canada, in Nigeria. I was learning business analytics on the side. I was learning data. I was learning Agile and Scrum. I was learning project management. I was learning everything. Then, fortunately, the first full-time role I got was in 2023, which was in a PMO. So I was a data analysis and reporting officer. So it exposed me to, and that was, I said, the manager and the panel, they were happy with my interview, and they gave me an opportunity to work. And I don't know, they even offered me the highest band of the salary, though it was for a junior role, but they did not give me the list on the band. They still offered me, because I was like, this is the equivalent of my postdoc salary. So they offered me the higher end, which was still a good start. So going to work every day, I was able to put all those things I've learned into real life, building reports, giving me a project, engaging with stakeholders, seeing how things work in the real life. So it started solidifying my confidence. And I was even able to tell them, I have a PhD, I can do this, I can do that. So some of them even call me, oh, where do you have a PhD? Come and talk to us about how we can do this, how we can do that, And let me say, it's a good thing that if you have a PhD, you feel like they respect you kind of in the workplace, because they feel, oh, this guy, you are technical, you can handle some things. Your own thought process will be a bit different from ours. So that's another angle that the research degrees, be it a master's or a PhD, would offer. So looking at where I was coming from, having done a project, bachelor's program, we did a project from start to finish, end to end. So I connected all the bits and pieces together. So I just sat on these three pods: business analysis, data analytics, and project management. And that is what I used in addition to my research background. And those are the things I used to launch my career in IT. I've worked as a data analyst and done a couple of work. I currently work in governance now, governance and reporting. So that's where I work at the moment in that space. So I don't do core analytics. So I work in governance, I work in processes, I work in process optimization, I work in drawing up business process flows and drawing up templates and a couple of helping data capability and those guidelines. So those are some of what I do at the moment. And all these things are things we did in the lab, like writing SOPs, writing work instructions, guiding people on how to use, like, okay, I did this thing ABC, I wrote it down, follow the instruction. Use it. I modify it, use it. So instead of people getting to the place and struggling to do something, you have documented it. So even whether you are there or not, they can follow that thing as an instruction and can make that work easy to do seamlessly. And that is what I left my PhD. So my PhD opened my eyes to how to really work in the real world. Yes, we'll be learning a new lot of concepts, but PhD helped me to see that I can push resilience. I can try a lot of this. I failed a lot of interviews, but I'm happy because it made me a better person and I can approach a lot of problems in different ramifications.
Thank you so much for that, sir. Um, so yes, I'm still on mute. Thank you so much for that, sir. So we're going to come back to you in a moment. I'm just going to share my screen and just talk to the community about a few more things. There are a few more questions I have around pathway to citizenship. I have questions around eligibility criteria, questions around awards, and then we'll come to your final words as well at some point in the session. But I wanted to just talk to the community about a few more things around the eMigr8 community. Don't forget that we did mention that if you wait till the end of this session, we do have a gift for you. And Mr. Dapo will be back in a moment. If you do have questions, please drop them in the chat. We still have a bit of time to talk around questions, any specific questions you do have. We compile questions from the community. We also compile questions from your registration when you join the session. If you're interested in any one of these pathways that we talk about on the eMigr8 platform, you can start by just messaging us on any one of these numbers. on the screen. You can join the eMigr8 community. You can download the eMigr8 app on the App Store or the iOS Store. You can join the community. We have the community on WhatsApp, on Telegram, and several other channels. We do have a tech career coaching service that could be useful for you. As I mentioned earlier, this is for the UK. We have premium coaching sessions as well on the eMigr8 platform. One of them is around the UK Global Talent Visa. So we recently started doing premium group coaching session. We've heard from the community that the pricing for the paid one-to-one coaching sessions may be on the high side for some people and so on. And so part of what we've started doing on the eMigr8 platform recently has been premium group coaching sessions. So these are not one-on-one sessions, but they are group sessions, but they are not free. Okay, they are usually 2 to 3 hours, 1 to 2 hours, sometimes extends longer than that. But what we are doing in those sessions is drilling down, and then they are not recorded. You can actually talk privately within a private small group, and then you can ask questions. You can show your documents if you are preparing application or any of those things that you are looking at doing. We would have coaches on those sessions to help. There's one coming up for the UK Global Talent Visa. You would see the URL, beancom.net/tech visa. The date is, we will share the flyer to the community anyway. And also we have one on the UK self-sponsorship route, which is also a premium group coaching session, which you may be interested in looking at, and you may be interested in, if you're interested in that particular route. With the UK self-sponsorship visa route, what it is that instead of you having an employer sponsoring your visa, your skilled worker visa, you can actually create a company in the UK, which will get the certificate of sponsorship, and then that your own company, in which you own 100% of the share, or if you are doing this with a partner, 50% of the shares, would then sponsor you as a skilled worker in the UK. This is perfectly legal. This is to the visibility of the Home Office. You would be the owner of your own company. So it's not a question of hiding behind somebody else or anything like that. Now, part of the reason why we talk about this to the community is that sometimes instead of your fate being in the hands of an employer that may not be doing things right, running their business right, maybe you want your fate to be in your own hands. And this route may be able to help you do that with the UK self-sponsorship route. And this is one of the ones we talk about on the eMigr8 platform. With the UK Global Talent Visa, for that one, you need to show yourself as globally attractive, particularly in the field of digital technology. For what we focus on, the technician visa, in the field of digital technology. So these are routes that may be of interest to you. We also mentioned earlier around Labs by Beancom, which is one of our programs that would help you to become a startup founder, Labs by Beancom. And what we do is we know that the best way to learn to be a startup founder is to be a startup founder. And so Labs by Beancom holds you through that entire process of you becoming a startup founder. We mentioned that if you waited till the end of this session, and we are coming towards the end of this session now, you will get a prize. This is the prize. This is the gift. It is an extra one-to-one coaching session. We mentioned earlier that we do have a free coaching session for everyone joining the eMigr8 community. You get one free coaching session. But then we are saying to you now that if you waited to the end, you can only redeem these ones. Just to mention, we've heard a few people in the community saying, oh, does it mean because I've attended many open days till the end, I have many extra coaching sessions, just one per individual? And the way to redeem this is you have to go to any one of the eMigr8 communities. It could be WhatsApp, it could be Telegram, it could be Twitter, it could be LinkedIn, it could be YouTube, it could be the sixth one. I can't remember which one it is at the moment. And you need to just declare there to say you attended this edition of eMigr8 Open Day and you waited till the end and you've won a session. What would happen is that the community manager of that community would pay attention to you And when you do book that coaching session in the eMigr8 app, you will not be, you'll be allowed to book a second coaching session. We've said that those coaching sessions, please do your own research. Don't come to those coaching sessions to say, what is Australia Global Talent Visa? Google it. Don't go to that session asking what is the EB2NIW. Google it. Don't go to ask what are the criteria. Google it. Ask questions that are unique and personalized to you because you spent time, you've done your own research, and then you're asking those kinds of questions. If you need that kind of premium hand-holding, we can do that on premium sessions, but we made these one-to-one free sessions available, particularly for our community members who are doing it yourself, DIY. Because if you're doing a DIY approach, you need someone that can guide you. You need someone that can handle you. We are limited by time, but we want to help as many people as possible. And so that's why it's available. So just let them know in the communities to say you attended this session. Do that today. Please don't do that in 3 weeks' time or so because they are tracking. Do that today. Or if you are watching the video, do that immediately you have seen this video. And what would happen is the community administrators will note you down and we'll be able to ensure that when you do book sessions, because we have the app to track your sessions that you're booking and so on, once you book your session, you are unlocked more sessions. You can get another free session again, and the way to get that is through the eMigr8 app. If you use the app consistently for 7 days in a row, you would actually unlock yet another free short coaching session. And so if you are paying attention, what that means is that there are many ways to say, oh, there are so many things that eMigr8 can help with at no cost to you. But that's on the free side. We do have premium options as well on the eMigr8 platform if that's what you are looking for. If you need a little bit more attention, if you need immediate attention, if you're already working on the visa opportunity and you need someone to help with one step or the other, you could look at one of our premium packages as well. There are many of them. We mentioned some of them during the start of this session, and we are here to help whichever way you're looking at it. The best place to start is to download the eMigr8 Visa app. Mr. Dapo, back to you now. I wanted you to speak briefly around the pathway to citizenship. So we've talked about the Global Talent Visa that gives you a direct PR, permanent residency in Australia. But then how do you become a citizen? Is it even possible to become a citizen?
Well, from my own experience and from what I read online, you need to have lived in Australia for a minimum of 4 years to be eligible to apply for citizenship. 4 straight years to be eligible to apply for citizenship. And you'll have used your PR visa for like 1 year. So as at the time I had applied, as at the time I got my permanent residence, I had lived in Australia for 3 years. So I had to stay the following year in 2021 to make 4 years. Whereas at that time, I've used my PR between 2020 and 2021. So that is the pathway. You will have lived on Australia cumulatively of 4 years and 1 year of your PR visa. Then
Oh,
you're
fantastic.
eligible to apply for citizenship.
Okay. Okay. So just to say that the Global Talent Visa will allow you a permanent residency, and from there you can become a citizen within 4 to 5 years on the
Yeah.
route. So somebody is asking, and I'm not sure I understand this question. The question is, what are the least requirements for the Global Talent route? But let me ask the question a slightly different way because it leads to a different question I was going to talk about, which is we've talked about the expression of interest, but how do, and then, oh yeah, it was going to be around achievements and awards to say, what kinds of achievements are they looking out for? I mean, as at the time when you went through the route, what kinds of achievements are they looking out for, awards as well? And what are some of the other things that they are looking out for the Australia Global Talent Visa? And that will match to this person asking, what is the least requirement? I suspect the person is asking at what point would I qualify for this visa? I think that's what the person is asking. But Mr. Dapo, I don't know if you can just speak to any one of the things I've mentioned.
Okay, let me speak about my experience in 2020. Like I told you, there were some people that didn't have any achievement then but got the visa because they have someone that nominated them. But in my own case, I had put all my achievements, all the awards, all the research publications, they are part of it. If you have written any book, they are part of it. If you had attended conferences, for instance, that you can show that you attended conferences, they are part of it. Um, Maybe you have written, like I said, publications generally. I'm talking from a researcher's perspective. All your publications, at least you have very good high citations. Put everything. They are part of the things like you are renowned in that field. So those are the things I feel will give you an edge and as achievement. Like if you won, I think I had attended some poster presentations. I won some poster awards. I won some travel awards. So I put everything. My research publications, I published in Elsevier, in some of these top ranking journals. I put everything. And although some results I had gotten in my bachelor's, in my master's, some I had in Nigeria, some I had in Europe, I put everything. So I put everything so that they will look at it that, and again, the way I pitched my research, I was able to show them the advantage, the value that I'm going to be bringing if I'm working in this area of research. So I pitched everything, coupled with other things I've put. So I felt that was one of the best ways I could sound convincing that I'm a global talent and I have something to offer the Australian community.
Fantastic. Different stories. Everyone's story will be different, but the key
Mm.
thing you need to understand is just understand the mindset of why this visa exists. Understand what they're hoping for you to achieve in their jurisdiction. And then based on that, you want to tell your own story. And if it's a case where you don't yet qualify, what you want to do is that ensure that you are building your profile towards qualifying. You are building your profile towards being globally attractive. Don't just stay at the ground level. Don't just do the basics that is required from your day-to-day employment. Contribute to your industry, contribute to your ecosystem. All of those things can actually become part of the evidence that you would use. We don't know what the changes will exactly be when the visa changes. So if you don't yet qualify as of today, then you probably will be looking at whatever the new visa will be in terms of the requirement, but the requirements will not be much different from these same principles, right? Because the principle does not change. Each country of the world want the best of the best to come to their economy to help grow their jurisdiction. And then that comes to the next question, which I'm going to take. The question says, I noticed that those that are digital experts working for multinational companies do not qualify for technician visa. That's not absolutely true, but I'll answer that. Please, how can such ones adapt their experience to qualify? So what you're saying is that with the technician visa, the technician visa is the UK Global Talent Visa for the field of digital technology. Now, what you're saying is that because that specific visa is looking for people with product-led digital technology experience, if you are in a multinational, it may be difficult if your multinational does not have a product. Now, one of the examples that I would use is something like Wema Bank, right? Wema Bank is a bank in Nigeria that has a fintech arm within it called Alert. You may not qualify for the global talent visa if you say, oh, what I do is I manage IT for Wema Bank. But all of a sudden, if you say, oh, I was part of the team that built Alert, then you are likely qualified. Likely, I'm not saying you are qualified or not. Of course, we are not even offering immigration or legal advice on the platform at this point anyway. Right. So that's one. Second thing is that in a multinational, it may be more difficult for you to show the impact of your own work. Because for the technician visa, what you must show is that this is what I did. So it is now not about we did this and there was a team of 10 people, because what they want is the main player. They don't want the supporting players. They want the main person that was able to achieve those levels of impact. And so in a multinational, your storytelling has to be on point to show that, and you have to show it with evidence. So it's not just going to say, oh, I'm the one that made this multinational go to IPO. You have to show evidence that supports that. That's the second thing why it may be more difficult for someone working in a multinational. Now, you asked that what can you do to help? One of the things that you can do to help is part of what we've talked about to say with labs by the income, you can actually build a startup by the side. Imagine if you say, I'm an expert working in this multinational, but then look at this other thing I've built. If your contract allows you to do that, by the way, look at these other things that I've built that has had so much traction in my own economy, that has so many different people using it and all of those kind of things. All of a sudden, your story looks more attractive to say, oh, you are doing stuff in the corporate world, but you're also doing stuff building the ecosystem, the startup, and all of that. Imagine you then say, oh, I'm a speaker at very high level stages in the field of technology. I'm one of the people working on policies. I'm one of the people. So understand what I'm saying. I'm saying that you have to up your ante, up your game. So it's not true to say because you work in a multinational, you don't qualify. That's not true. It's just that there are many things you would have to add to yourself and your profile for that to help. The next question is Dr. Anthony. Apologies, Dr. Dapo. I've called you Mr. Dapo a few more times that time. I do apologize. I'm trying to adjust. Dr.
It's no problem.
Dapo. Yeah, so we have a Dr. Anthony, recent PhD graduate in IT from Malaysia, 10 research publication, expertise covers advanced IT system, data analytics, no formal work experience. Academic background and contribution demonstrate a strong foundation. And then the question is, how can I proceed with applying for the Australia Global Talent Visa based on my academic achievement and technical expertise? So I'm going to hand over to Dr. Dapo, but just to say to Dr. Anthony, you sound like you qualify. You sound like you may want to even put your expression of interest in before the global talent visa changes. Maybe because we don't know if it's going to change for you or against you. Right now, there's a good chance if you have a PhD. So you may want to go through the expression of interest process and all of that now, and put your process in before they stop taking new application. But Dr. Dapo, I don't know if you have some tips and insight for this person based on the short profile they've given at this point.
It's good to know because I'm reading some of the comments here too. The only concern I have is, will you have someone in Australia working in your same field that can nominate you? That is the only concern I have. Or someone from New Zealand that can nominate you. Because that is often the issue that is usually encountered. Like I had one of my juniors who studied this PhD in Thailand. He had 17 publications. Well, good thing is, he's currently now in Canada. He's a PR in Canada now. But when I was even telling him here, he didn't have someone. Imagine someone having 70 publications for PhD alone. And he had the first class also in his undergrad, had very good master's result, and then went to have a PhD with 70 publications, and he was building a reputation. But because there was no one that could nominate him, so that is only the challenge. Do you have someone in Australia that can nominate you? That is what I will ask.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Dapo. I'll go to the next question. What are the tech career courses? So on the Bincom Dev Center platform, we have two categories: the business side of tech and the technical side of tech. On the technical side of tech, we have software development where you could do PHP backend, or you can do Python data science, or you could do mobile app stroke front end, or you could do infrastructure stroke DevOps, or you could do quality assurance stroke automated testing. So those are technical sides of tech that you can look at. But then in the business side of tech, you can look at things like PMO, basically that's project service product management, starting with business analysis and agile. So that combines a lot of different things and gives you multiple options in your career. We have the digital marketing as part of the options that are available. We actually have enterprise sales as part of the options available, and there are several options as well. So it depends on what you are looking at. If you are not quite sure, you can actually fill the global tech form to say, I need help choosing a career track. We will look at you, we'll look at what you've done in the past, and based on where you want to be in the future, and then we'll be able to advise. We also do something called the ICT Career Talk. We do that on every last Saturday of every month. It's virtual. You may want to join that as well. And that could also help you around choosing the right tech career for yourself. Next question says, I love this meeting. Imposter syndrome has died because the speaker is an agreed graduate like myself. Fantastic. Thank you for that feedback. And if you can, please give us this feedback publicly as well. We are now collecting reviews and feedback on our Trustpilot. We are collecting reviews and feedback on our Google account as well for eMigr8. I'm sure my colleagues will drop that in the chat in a moment. If they haven't done so already. If you can, please give us reviews and let us know publicly. It helps our marketing on the eMigr8 platform, and it helps us to reach more people as well. Dr. Dapo, I don't know if you have a few words to this person who is ailing you, and this is one of the fruits from the seed you've sown already today. I don't know if you want to say some things.
Oh, well, let me say it's a natural thing, or it's a normal thing for you to. We all went through inferiority complex, self-esteem issues, imposter syndrome. But the good thing is, you have to try. One thing I keep telling myself is that you have to try. That courage is what you need to face. Interestingly, one of the key things that I realize that many immigrants don't know how to manage is when you get to the professional environment and you realize that you seems to be the only African there, you usually feel like, oh, how am I going to cope? But the good thing is how I said, build yourself to that level that employers will always need you. And you have to walk with your head high, shoulder store. You didn't beg for the job, you qualified for it. So the same thing is any job, any role you think you are fit for, apply. Even with this visa of a thing, give it a shot. Maximum they will say, sorry, you are not qualified. But don't disqualify yourself and say, I don't think I meet up. Try. And also make sure that you are building a public profile for yourself. Opportunities will come. Opportunities will come from anywhere. Build a public profile. Don't throw out everything out there, but see how you can add value to the community. Because when we are talking of a global talent, you want to showcase that I am contributing something. You want to show them I have done something and this is what I can do. And you can show it to them that I have done this thing consistently over time. Go on Google Scholar, go on social page, you can find my public profile there. They can check it themselves. So that's a way of showing that you have something to offer the world at large. It may not even be in Australia, it may be in Nigeria, it may be any part of the world that you have done something, like you are giving something back to the community. That could be a way you should showcase that you are a global talent.
Thank you so much.
So I dropped my LinkedIn app, the link to my LinkedIn page here.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much, Dr. Dapo, and thank you for inspiring not just this one individual, but the rest of this community. We are a bit over time. I'm just going to try and put many of the questions together so we can let you have the rest of your evening to yourself. Thank you so much for today. But just to go back to the Dr. Anthony, I thought it was best to also talk about this on the recording just to help. For people in the field of digital technology, one of the ways you can get that, one of the ways in which you can get the nominating organization is the Australia Computer Society. Australia Computer Society is a nominating organization and they are able to nominate you. But however, you have to get past their own assessment first, right? So if you pass the assessment of the Australia Computer Society, then they will nominate you for the Global Talent visa. The assessment require, I've dropped the link in the chat and hopefully my team will put the link in this recording as well. But you can just Google it. Australia Computer Society is one of the people that you can use to get a nomination for the Australia Global Talent visa, GTI. Yeah, so there's so many questions. You guys waited towards the end to be asking questions, but I will go on. What are the age positions for 45 years. I'm not sure what this question means, but if you're saying, is there age restriction? No, there is none. When will the global talent visa change? We don't know, is the point, but they have said that it will change. So you can go look at the government publication. It's online, it's not hidden. You can Google it, or you can just Google that keyword I shared with you just a moment ago. If you Google the keyword, and on Google, there's a way where you can follow trends. So you can actually put on your Google to follow trends to say Australia National Innovation Visa. That's what the new name will be. And so you can actually go on Google Trends and follow that so that whenever there's information about that, you are able to get that directly to yourself. Also, we curate all of these kinds of information on the eMigr8 Visa app. So if you don't yet have the app, you should download the app, because once those information are out, we will curate it. We will talk to our coaches. They will be able to give their own perspective to what the law says and what the guideline says. And based on that, we will share information to you. All of this is free of charge. And then, of course, if you want premium sessions with the coaches, you can also book that on the eMigr8 Tech Visa platform. LinkedIn, Dr. Dakwa has shared their LinkedIn on the chat, and you can connect with him on LinkedIn. Please don't spam him. Please, right? Yeah, but you can connect with Dr. Dakwa on LinkedIn. Somebody says, I have over 6 years experience, professional experience, currently work with Alert. Oh, and I mentioned Alert. How do I go about the global routes? So, interesting. I mentioned Alert as an example. I actually didn't look at registration form or anything like that. It was just a coincidence. What should you do next? The first thing you want to do is get all the free resources available on the eMigr8 Tech Visa platform. If the global route you're talking about is the UK Global Talent Visa, watch video 1A on our list of resources. Once you watch video 1A, it's 1 hour, 30 minutes of a lot of information about the route, about how you would qualify, about what you need to look at. You can even start doing a self-assessment for yourself to say, do I already qualify, or do I need a little more work? But to make it easier for you, we've also said once you've done that, you can book a short one-to-one coaching session with one of the eMigr8 coaches. Now, that short one-to-one coaching session will help remove any doubts, any assumptions, any questions that you have. We're able to help you with that. But please don't come to that session without doing the first thing I've said, which is spend your own time first. The only other alternative is if you don't want to spend the time, then you have to spend money, which means that you have to book a premium coaching session. And if you're paying for the coach's time, they won't mind taking you step by step through the process if that's what you're looking for. But whichever one you're looking for, whether you're looking at a DIY approach, do it yourself approach, or you're looking at a premium approach, the eMigr8 Tech Visa platform is able to help. You're also able to book sessions with Dr. Dapo, for example. We don't offer immigration advice or legal advice on this platform. What we do is beyond the legal or immigration advice. We're talking about how you can be globally attractive. And so if you want some of those conversations, you can actually book that through the eMigr8 app as well. Where do you make your publication? Dr. Dakwa, I don't know if they're taking you back to your research days. Where do you make your publications?
Because my research was in animal and food sciences, so my research papers were published in journals within those mainstreams of animal and food sciences.
Mm-hmm. All right, fantastic. And you may want to look at Google Scholars as well for the person that asked that question. Google Scholars is also a good place to look at. Thank you so much, Dr. Lakpo. So we are coming to the last, let me just make sure I touched on everything that I had prepared. We've talked about the post-visa. We've talked about the application process. We won't be talking about taxes and so on today. And then we will talk about, yeah, I think we've covered quite a number of the things that my colleagues wanted us to cover during this session. So, Dr. Dapo, the last bit that I'm going to ask you to just talk about is to speak to 5 categories of audience in the eMigr8 platform. You may choose to speak to them individually. We prefer that, or you can just speak generally to all of them. We have beginners in the room. They are just starting their journey. They haven't even started their journey in tech at all. They may already have expertise in other fields, law, finance, sales, and so on, but they are just starting their journey in the field of technology. What would you advise them? They are probably not qualified for Global Talent Visa today, but they could qualify in the future. What would you advise them? Then we have intermediate people. They're already in the journey. 4 years, 5 years, 6 years in the field, but then they are also then continuing to build their profile, to build their career. What would you advise them? Then we have advanced people, 20 years experience in the field of tech, head of technology in a bank, head of this engineering manager somewhere, and so on. What would you advise them to do as regards this conversation we've had so far? Fourth category, they are not in their own country, but they are not on a pathway to settlement. So UK is where we have most of that audience today. They are in the UK on the UK student visa, no pathway to settlement. They are not even sure if they will be able to find a pathway to settlement eventually. And they are now getting really worried. They are looking at other countries. They are looking at Australia. They are looking at Canada. They are looking at US. What would you advise them? And then the last category is someone like Dr. Anthony, who seems to be qualified already, ready to apply. That's the fifth category. What would you advise them? So that's going to be your final word. But just before you take that, I'm just going to go, I'm going back to my slides in a moment, just to recap some of the things that we've said so far on the eMigr8 Open Day. So for those joining towards the end, you're welcome. Thank you for joining this edition of eMigr8 Open Day. What we talked about is that we are your tech-enabled platform for talent mobility, relocation, and settlement. That's what we do on the eMigr8 platform. How we do that is that we have different eMigr8 services. Some of them are free. Many of them, in fact, over 80% of what we do is free. And then some are paid. They are on the premium side of what we do because we operate a freemium model. And the way the freemium model works is that the few people that pay actually covers the cost of running the platform for everyone else that we are able to do many different free things for. On the free side of our services, we have the eMigr8 Tech Visa app. And that's where we think you should start from in terms of downloading that app. Because once you download the app, you would unlock a number of our free resources, free video recording, the tech visa landscape that we've mentioned and why it is useful to you. You get access to be able to book free coaching sessions. You get access to several other opportunities. You get access to some of the office hours that we do offer on the eMigr8 platform, and so on. So that's where on the free side. But then on the paid side, you may also want to look at the paid side of eMigr8 to say, oh, I'm looking at something premium. What I need is much more than what is already available on the platform for free. And so I'm looking at something premium. And on the premium side, we have a number of services as well that are available to you on the premium side of eMigr8 platform. So on the premium side, we have premium coaching sessions. These are paid coaching sessions as well, but they are premium coaching sessions. So they are longer, usually about 30 minutes to 1 hour, even longer in some cases. And we have different packages that can also help to say, if you are looking at a particular pathway, there are premium packages that could help on that pathway. And so some of those packages are listed here to say we have the move to the UK as a global talent that focuses on the UK global talent visa. We talked a bit about the settle in the UK as a tech talent that focuses on multiple visas in one bucket, but comes with the eMigr8 triple guarantee, which is that we earn most of our fee at the point of your success. And we have the move to the US as a global talent, focusing on the O1 visa. We have moved to the US with the EB2 NIW visa, and that is actually targeting people in the UK who have a UK master's or a foreign master's in many of the top countries of the world, because you are either qualified or close to qualifying for the US EB2 NIW visa. All of these visas you can move with your family, and these are different packages available on the eMigr8 platform. For all of these packages, what we have are coaches who are very experienced in this route and who are able to handle you through the process. eMigr8 does not by itself offer legal or immigration advice. We are not immigration consultants. We are not lawyers. We partner with lawyers. So for example, with the Self-Start UK route, part of the consortium that brings that to you, are lawyers that are able to help you, but all of that is packaged on the platform. So we are not offering you legal advice, but this is absolutely useful for you as well if you're looking on the premium side. We also talked about some of our partner applications. Oh yeah, the community is there. Join the community if you haven't joined the community already. We're on WhatsApp, Telegram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. The best place to start, the best community to be on as of today is the WhatsApp community. A number of our coaches are there. You can ask questions there, but we are spending a lot of time and also money to make sure all the other communities are also as vibrant as the WhatsApp community that it is today. The WhatsApp one is a bit guarded. We will first assess you before we are able to let you into the WhatsApp community, but that is there. If you haven't done so, what are you waiting for? While on this call, go to the App Store right now, download the eMigr8 Tech Visa app. We mentioned the fact that you can get additional coaching sessions for free because you have that app. We also mentioned a number of other programs that can help you. Global Tech Program brings you from beginner to where you want to be, or brings you from intermediate to where you want to be. We mentioned the 3 months program that you may want to look into, particularly if you're in the UK and you want to switch to tech. This is a fantastic route for you to start with. We mentioned the mentoring platform to say if you're already an expert, what you may want to do is start mentoring on such a structured platform. We mentioned Labs by Bincom, which is also a premium program that helps you become a startup founder. All of these are additional programs available with Bincom Dev Center, which is the company that created and incubated eMigr8. eMigr8 is actually becoming its own startup, and we are working on that at the moment. But Bincom Dev Center also have services for you, which I've just mentioned. And finally, we showed this slide to say several visa opportunities out there. All of them have one common denominator, which is be globally attractive. Take a screenshot of this slide, Google it, understand what the requirements are, and then take a look at your own profile to say, do I already qualify? Or what is it that I need to do today so that I can qualify quickly within the nearest possible time? All right. 2 more questions in the chat. Okay, Dr. Zakwa, I think we'll just add all of them together so that, what's the name? The question is, one of the questions is, do I still need nomination as a professional software developer? Definitely you do for the Australia Global Talent. I've also done the ACS assessment. If you've done the ACS assessment, it means that they will be able to nominate you. So I'm not sure what you mean you've done the assessment. If you've done the assessment, let them know to say you want a recommendation. It's not called recommendation. You want the nomination for the global talent visa. You can let ACS know that. Which website can help me in doing researches, market research, and so on? Dr. Dakpo will answer that. And for someone researching on user-centric product. Okay, Dr. Dakpo. So 5 audience: beginner, intermediate, advanced, not on a pathway to settlement, and ready to apply. Those are the 5. I don't know if you want to just share some final words for final thoughts for today for each one of those audience. Let's start with the beginner.
Okay, quickly, about doing research or market research, I don't do that really, but I think you can Google it. I don't know much about that. Okay, for someone that is just starting, the very first question should be understanding your goals and objectives of why you want to go to the career path and why you want the visa pathway. Those should be clearly let me say researched, or you should have a motivation for doing it. For anyone that have gathered work experience, you should broadly look at where I am now. Let me say, I'm talking from the person's perspective now. Where I am now and where do I want to be in the next 5 years? It should be like when I was in Europe, I didn't see myself staying in Europe. I visited a few countries while I was in Europe, but I looked at it that I really didn't see myself staying in Europe for long. So you should be able to weigh your options that. And again, let me digress a little bit. Beyond many of these countries that has been pitched here, they are good starting points, but they are not the only place where you can achieve your aim. For me, one of the things that helped me to come to Australia was because I went somewhere else. That gave me an edge. Then I can come here because the other places you have been to also gives you opportunities like as a global leader. It is good. Even do you know that even for some of us who have green passports, when they see that you've had travel history, it gives them credible or like this assurance that no, if we give this person visa, he's going to go back to Nigeria. I'm not saying there's no problem with all this migration of a thing. There are still some, but at least you still have stand a higher chance of being given a visa to go for traveling to other places compared to someone that just don't have blank passport. So what I'm saying is connect, collaborate, try to build something that you can showcase. Beyond just having a job, have a career. Career means look at what you can invest in yourself. And after you can invest yourself, make sure that you can showcase projects, things you can put forward that this is what I've built, this is what I have done. And these are the things you can pitch. Someone told me that, do you know that there are some countries in the world now that they want people who can show them that they have built some solutions in this IT tech space. How many of us know about Luxembourg and some other countries in Europe? There are places that you can even go short time and bring that and pitch it in the UK. Go there, do some Finland, do 3 months program or do something there. Come back and pitch it forward to the global talent in the UK or Canada, or United States. It's like I remember there was a time I think when I came to new to Australia and I was meeting some people asking, they said, okay, where I was. I told I was from Hungary, and that person she's from she went to the UK. Another guy that was even doing a PhD in photography did about 6 months short course in Finland. And that was what gave him a full scholarship to come to Australia. Because he didn't, I spent close to 22 months in Europe. He just spent about 3 to 6 months. So if you have the opportunity to explore those opportunities, and there are a lot of information online. There are a lot of information on the internet. And some of these opportunities, even if you can't go there physically, you can try remote opportunities. So it's about trying and looking all over internet, checking what you can participate in, make a presentation, showcase what you can do. Use that one to come and pitch yourself up for this global talent. Well, for someone who is in the advanced level, what I would say is that it's about giving it a try. It's about looking at how you can combine with look around. It's more around collaboration. There are people that may be younger than one who have gotten some established work going for them. Find a way to reach out. Like if I tell you heaps of people I've met on LinkedIn, I keep people coming to my LinkedIn profile and tell me, like this morning I woke up to someone telling me, they want me to collaborate with them or something. I'm like, okay. I've had a lot of people come in and pitch something. It's because you are showing yourself that I have built a profile. I can do this. I have done this. So it's about looking for opportunities to reach out. I just would go online, Google business sciences, send them a message, please. I am a new starter in this area. What can I do? The person will give you ideas. So it's about networking and reaching out to people, because many of countries of the world, they have clauses about age when it comes to the older age, but there's no harm in trying. There are always exceptions to every rule. That's what I'm going to say. And the thing is this, don't put all your egg in one basket. Even though there are some countries that may not be listed here on this platform, there's no harm in trying them.
Hmm.
How many of us know about Malta? How many of us know about Estonia? These are tech countries that are doing very well in tech. You can go there, do some few things there, come back to the UK, look for opportunities to try those places, bring all those good work, go and do them. Come and pitch it to the UK. They will give you the visa to come into the UK. So that is another angle to it. So I think this is just a few things that can come up to my head at this moment about wherever your journey. And if you are not even in the tech career path, please try to explore. There's no harm in trying. Worst case, my late brother of blessed memory that told me something in 2017, said, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Even if you try and you feel you are not starting from zero again. At least you have satisfied your curiosity. You have made effort. If you aim for the stars and you don't touch it and you fall on the mountain, that is it. because the mountain is still very high. So if you reach for the clouds, there are mountains, you fall on the mountain. So you are not going back to ground level. So that's another idea, that don't allow fear of the unknown. Yes, we all go through it. I went through it. But I can tell you, I had to stand and face my fears. I had to stand and face my fears, especially for those of us coming from, I'm Nigerian originally. I'm a dual citizen of the world. So it's about trying your best, pushing yourself to learn new skills. Don't stay at the level of, okay, I have first class is good, but first class alone is not enough in current market. Even in terms of tech, in terms of global talent, there is more to being a global talent than just having a first class or having a certificate. What other things can you bring on the table? Community services, what can you showcase? How many people can you say? For instance, do you think if you pitch it that you are doing some grassroots work in Nigeria, that's a global talent, something you can pitch. Imagine you showcase that I've trained 1,000 students in how to use these tools. I've built these solutions helping these communities in Nigeria. I've built this solution. That is a lot for you to pitch for someone. It does not have to be in the developer world alone. If it's something you can showcase from where you're coming from, you can pitch it to get something in the global stage. It works.
Wow. Well, I'm not sure we can even top that at all. But Dr. Dapo, there's something I found I missed out. Your company does a few things, trainings and all of that. I would like you to just share a bit to the community because they may find it useful as well around the trainings and so on that your company does. And I would just say, because we've gone way over time, to say thank you for joining this edition of eMigr8 Open Day. If this has been useful for you, please let us know. You can drop a message in any one of the community just to let us know. That feedback helps us to continue doing this. We're currently putting together a calendar for 2020 next year. And what we hope you can also let us know is if you want to hear from a particular country or the other, and all, we have vast relationship because of the nature of what we do. And we can actually bring more coaches based on whatever country of interest that you may be interested in. But let us know if we're doing well. And also, if you can, I've dropped the link for a public review. Give us a public review. If you've had a coaching session, if you've had this group coaching session or the open day, let others know if you found this useful and it helps our marketing. And I've also dropped the link to the community. Join the community if you can. So Dr. Lapo, please tell us a little bit about the good work that you're doing. It would be remiss of me if we don't share that with the community as well.
Okay. Well, am I permitted to share the name of the organization?
Yes, definitely. Oh, please do.
All right.
Please
Okay.
do.
Well, beyond other than my employee, I work with the government of Australia. I also run some private outfit, an EdTech training company, Tech Pro Institute. And essentially, we are trying to bridge the gap, tech talent in Australia. And it's essentially around training in the area of business analysis, Scrum Master, Agile Scrum, and product management. Because these are areas that we've identified there are a lot of opportunities. And we felt we can offer value in this area. So we are currently having some training at the moment, and we will soon be starting another cohort in about 2 weeks from now. So the flyers are already all over, and more information will be on LinkedIn primarily for this next cohort of training, because I feel it's an opportunity for us to empower ourselves, especially for many of us who have some knowledge in IT or who are willing to learn to develop in the tech space.
No. Thank you, Dr. Lapa. And if you have the link handy, you could drop it in the chat as well. We'll be able to share with the community. This is also useful. Just to mention, it's not just for you if you're in Australia. If you're targeting Australia, you may want to start joining such a session to even start networking with people in Australia. And also the skill to be learned are actually global skills anyway. So that's it for this edition of eMigr8 Open Day. Thank you for joining us. If you haven't done so already, please download the eMigr8 app that's where you want to start from. We will be launching eMigr8 AI in a few weeks. So I'm really excited about that. I've been testing that at the moment. So that's really cool. But yes, we will let you know to the community once eMigr8.ai is up and running and ready for your use. But yeah, hopefully this was useful for you. If it was, please let us know. Last thing I would say is take action. If you don't take any action from everything that has been said today, you are not much better than the person who didn't even know. What is the next thing you ought to do today based on what you've learned today? Thank you, and wishing you the very